Lost it. Hi, everybody. How are you? Hi, this is Colorful Foresight, where we intuitively connect from within. And it's woo woo time, where we connect our woo woo into our mundane living. Hello, this is Sylvia, Colorful Foresight, and I have Latisha, and her handle is tishera, INFJ. Let me tell you, it's a little crazy right now. It just, first of all, trying to meet together and then our own life. So this is
Yes.
kind of goes with what's going on politically.
Hmm.
So the title for here is U.S. Politics, I Don't Know, to Clarity. And
Hmm.
I added 24 and Harris, which Latisha does not know yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about it. And then she's more of a pattern person, not so much a dreamer, but she could kind of connect everything. So we'll go with that. And then anybody who watching this and you have comments, let us know. So the point of U.S. politics, but we don't need to tell you what's going on, right? It's pretty obvious. It's global.
Hmm. Yeah.
So we originally, Latisha and I actually did a video. I just haven't had chance to go around it, but it's like where both of us were getting patterns. She was getting patterns, and I was getting dreams. But last week was more like we got to a point where like I don't know what's going on. So we have that. For this video, I want to be a little bit more or a lot more with clarity. And that what you guys might be seeing as well, using your intuition or inkling. And so I have a friend on Bluesky, and he's an Australian. He's been so proactive helping USA. A lot of people on Bluesky, right after the election, we had a lot of allies that went on. That's
Mhm.
including a lot from Canada. Now, of course, since the current president came in temporarily, the energy is a little weird between Canada and USA, which we don't have to explain. But the point is, these allies were on our back right after the election. So I get dreams, and I'm not going to tell you my dream from before because I have videos on that. But the last 2 weeks, which I go back to my friend from Australia, I was sharing with him just like 3 days, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Oh, I would awake, I would ask my spirit guide to, give me a message before I wake up. So I saw the number 24.
Mhm.
So I made it like, oh, it could be 24 days, uh, or the 24th of March. And while we were texting on Bluesky in the chat, he said he had a interesting feeling. He was experiencing like a timeline shift. At first, I didn't take it seriously, but he was experiencing as we were typing. And he felt like it went back to the energy of where we're supposed to be in 2024 with Harris. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I keep it open, but I just let go of the 24. Then last night, which is on the Isle of Marsh, um, I was shown Harris. Like I wasn't thinking about it, but Harris. And I woke up and I shared it on my Bluesky, and I shared it with my Australian friend. He goes, maybe timeline shift and Harris 2024. I was like, oh my God, that would be great. Wouldn't it be like what
Mhm.
psychics we're seeing, or at least maybe with all the choices that we're doing at the humanity, we're heading back to that, so to speak. So,
Yeah.
Latisha been thinking, hearing me talk. What are you hearing when?
Well, before we go to me, I would like to ask a question.
Okay,
I'm curious, like when you say you saw Harris, what do you mean specifically? Like you saw the letters,
like I
like
was sleeping, I saw the letters. They show me
okay,
Harris.
right, yeah,
I knew because usually when you have dreams, you don't know you're dreaming really.
yeah,
But
yeah,
these are the type of lucid dream where I was like, oh, I have to remember this. And then I
yeah,
still went to sleep and I woke up
yeah.
and remembered. Yeah, it was like that.
Okay. So, for me, I have never really experienced a lucid dream, so I have no idea what that feels like. So, like I said, like you said, I am more of I take in information and I use the information of what I know, what I understand, and what I understand from how life works and how people work. what I believe, is likely to happen, the outcome. And I still remain at the same position. But first of all, I would say that for me, I also kind of felt like I felt a shift as well.
Oh, you did? Oh.
Yes, but the thing is for me, right, is that I am very, very new to understanding my intuitive feelings, to understand it on a different level, I sometimes would experience things and I'll be like, well, is that, you kind of have to kind of experience it more than once to realize, okay, well, this is a pattern, this is something that happens regularly, and to understand it better. So I'm in the stage where a lot of the things that I'm experiencing in this era, in this period, are new to me, but I know that I'm experiencing it. So the kind of the shift that I felt is, I felt like I honestly feel as though I live in an alternative alternate universe. I definitely feel as though I'm not living in the same timeline as some people. I feel as though I'm watching it. Like I spend a lot of time on Bluesky this morning and yesterday, and I'm hearing all the things that are happening, all the horrible, bad things, all of what they're doing, everything that is very similar to things that have happened in the past, very, very familiar. But I'm not feeling it. It's like if I'm watching a movie or something, I don't feel like if I'm in it, or I don't feel like if I am in that timeline, I just feel like I'm watching that timeline, and I personally just felt the same thing, and I still feel it now. I feel as though people have to kind of decide that is not what they want. You know what I mean? They have to decide that that's not what they want, and do whatever they feel intuitively called to do whatever they feel called to do in this period, to be a helper. You know what I mean? To not just like accept that this is what happened and these bad things are happening, and not do anything about it, just feel upset or feel fearful or feel all the negative feelings, but actually think about whatever it is that you feel called to do, that you can do to, to be a part of a different timeline, to be a part of the shift, to be a part of a,
and that's funny you said that.
Yeah.
Maybe we are back into that 2024 Harris timeline going that in the beginning. And you keep saying that, you don't do this, you don't do that, but that's the thing. Everybody has intuition, but it doesn't have to be the woo-woo way.
Yeah.
It's likely we all have it. It's just that we label everything. Some people are more practical and they follow pattern, but that pattern for some people could be not only logical, putting the pieces together, but it's a sign. So you're seeing different signs. And so I'm glad you said that. And also, I got the card and I'll show it to you, and you could kind of see it, even if you don't know the card. It's called the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is like changing timeline. It could be. Yeah. It could also be our choices may shift from one cycle to another. Like we're seeing like a lot of people that are afraid. Here's the Nine of Swords. You don't even have to know what this card means, but look, they're stressed out. Right. And then what happened? It's been a little slow in action taking protests. Maybe because as American, we're kind of in a shock and we don't really understand what's going on. Yeah. So the Seven of Coins, you see here, it's like a root. So even if you don't know the tarot, doesn't that look like it's growing? Maybe not half. You see how it's obvious? This is a deck that you want to buy, by the way, with that Seven.
Actually, I got it.
Yay! Oh, you're gonna love that deck. It's pretty. Like,
I do.
Chris Ann pretty much used the standard meaning, and she put a modern twist. But it's also, you could see that it looked like what the cards mean. Like you could see it's self-explanatory. Yeah. And then here it's like kind of like you and me last week. Like I don't know what's going on. Like there's so much going on, right? Yeah. Well, like this. Like okay, I see the pattern, and then I don't know what's going on because
and it's like okay, so I feel as though the reason that I feel like the reason I would say I don't know what's going on is because, like I said, I feel like I live in two different timelines. I feel like I'm watching it, and logically you're thinking, okay, well, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? But at the same time, I don't feel as though I'm in that timeline. I feel optimistic about the future. I feel,
Awesome.
I feel good things, and it's weird.
Me
So
too.
it's like, what the heck? Why do I feel this way? Why, it's kind of like yeah, I just feel as though I'm watching it, but I'm not in it, and I want to help, but at the same time, I don't know what it is that I can personally do, because I really do feel as though, even though it's complicated what's happening and it feels complicated, I feel like it's complicated but simple at the same time, because I feel as though it just requires people being brave, people being courageous, and instead of feeding the fear and feeding into the fear, they feed into the faith and feed into their power and feed into what what am I able to do. So it feels like in their mind, the world is saying it's complicated and it's hard, and there's nothing we could do. But to me, it just feels like it's simple, even though it's complicated. I don't know if that makes sense,
Yeah, because simple I mean, not that I understand it, but you hear about like spiritual term, like it's all really simple. And we're like, no, it's not, because our mind complicates things.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what could be simple as the power of the people versus 1%? Now, the 1% has a lot of power. We know that.
Yeah.
But it's like that's what we're learning, because it's not just the U.S. banding against this, it's the world. And even now, the allies who are against us, they're also for us. So they're against the government, but they're for we the people. And it wakes them up, especially
I think that they fully understand that it's not us, it's not the people, that they're against.
May think
it's
that,
the government.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, I have more empathy for the Chinese people and Russia, because in a lot of American movies and other movies, they're always portrayed as the bad people, and it's really the government, it's not the people. So this is where we're at temporarily. We're that bad people now because of our government. So I think that's why when you say you feel like you're watching a movie, because it had played out like that, but it doesn't mean it's going to play out like that. So that's why, and maybe there's choices too. So it goes back to, it's really about the community of we the people in the U.S. and around the world. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
So that's why maybe now we're shifting back to the timeline, if we're going to be like woo-woo, to where I saw in my dream 2024 and Harris.
Yeah.
Maybe we're back to where we're supposed to be. Maybe that means downfall of 47.
I think that a lot of people, because like what you say is very important factor, is that it is the people versus the giants, versus the 1%, versus the powers that be. And you see, the thing is that we stand a chance of defeating the powers that be in numbers. So the more people that wake up and realize that they can't sit this one out. There's a rule for them, and they got to figure out what that rule is. The more people that figure out the rule, the quicker this is over, the more that we stand a chance of defeating the powers that be. And that's why I feel as though, and I'm thankful. I know this might sound weird, but I know it's absolutely terrifying. I know this, but I am grateful that they try to do so much so fast, because I feel as though doing so much so fast is like this splash of cold water to the face, it's a wake up call. And even people that normally would be kind of passive or apathetic or sit these things out or not be paying attention, you can't miss it. You know what I mean? You cannot miss it.
When they're like, oh, this is the lesson just for the red hat. It is.
Yeah.
But it's really the lesson for
everybody. Everybody is like it can touch us in one way or the next. If we were the kind of person that we didn't really used to pay attention, or we think that democracy doesn't matter, or we think that politics is a separate thing to our lives, it's a wake-up call. If we had some gifts that we was like kind of like, had stagnant our powers, our superpowers, our abilities, whatever, that we weren't really paying attention to because we were comfortable, well, we uncomfortable now, so it's activated. So whatever it is that we needed to be in this time, the environment is being created for that. So like for me, I believe that I needed to really start to believe in my powers and my abilities and what I'm capable of. Like the first video we did, stronger than we think, right? I had to learn that I'm stronger than I think. I had to learn, because what I'm experiencing now, honestly, is my biggest fear. I never wanted to be in a timeline like this. Honestly, this was literally my biggest fear. Like when I didn't even want to watch documentaries about these things, because I would, being the empath that I am, I would put myself in that environment and I will feel terrible, So I am like, so whatever the word is, that it's unbelievable to me that I would be in a timeline like this, where there's a possibility of history repeating itself and living in a timeline like that.
And but yet possibly beating it. I don't want to get too, like, we should never assume. We're learning about
I think we can.
Yeah,
I honestly think we can. We can beat it.
Yeah. But we can't just sit there. That's what we learned. Another thing.
You can't sit it out.
No, especially at first world country, we're a little. That's why, if you notice, like, maybe you don't, but on Bluesky, I'll see other countries that already had like kind of like a facet type of thing or whatever. They right on it. They have millions of
they recognize it.
Romania, Germany, all that.
They recognize it. Yeah.
Right, because they're familiar with it. I think, you talked about this in your videos under your channel, and also Stronger Than You Think. But it's really important to realize it about our allies, how we could be, kind of remind me of like, how could Canada like USA, because a lot of them don't like us so much. It's kind of like when you have a family member, you don't like them, but you still love them and you still support them, So that's why I make sure to tell my Canadians on Bluesky, thank you. Because I remember what you did right after the election, how you guys came for us. So now it's a little awkward, because now since January, because this was after November, they came on and support us. But, after that, it's challenging. But again, I told you, I learned about how I should see Russia, the Russian people, which I kind of knew, but I really got to see like how we see the Chinese people, how we see the Russian, or anybody.
I appreciate you saying that, because that just put a thought in my head. What? I feel like that is kind of like why we have to experience this, why Americans have to experience this, because you would not be able to read about something in a book or to hear about it. It's so much different than experiencing it, and to experience it. I think that I 100% believe that America is going to, get past this, and the world is going to get past this period. I honestly believe that this moment was needed to happen for all the people who were like, who didn't get it, who was sleeping, who didn't study history, who like me too, like for people that wasn't really, that didn't understand. Now we understand. Now we understand.
Don't have to go to the fire. Your last video. We don't have to go to the end of the fire. Hopefully we got a little bit of fire bush.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stop it, before it gets to like the worst.
Like I said, I feel like it's such a blessing. We might not count it as a blessing right now, but I can tell you someday we will look back, and generations will look back and they will say it's a blessing that they try to do so much so fast. It was.
And you know what? Just to validate, not your intuition. Look what card I got. Oh, I put it down, but it was a blessing card. I swear, God. Not just, here it is. I put it down. Blessing.
Wow.
Now, it doesn't mean that we want it to continue, but it's a purification. All the lessons.
Yeah.
It's a purification. Could the sun, if you look at the sun card, it's also seeing what we don't want to see. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how this helped the political psychic community. And then the miracle come from it, which is
Mhm.
what hopefully we will see. Now, the
Yeah.
political psychics, a lot of us were told, oh, Harris going to win in 24 and yada, yada, yada. And it showed up so differently. But if they have told me, like, I can only speak for myself,
Yeah.
okay, the election's going to be stolen again. And then you're
Yeah.
going to have this guy making a lot of country hate us. I don't think I could understand that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
I
like
agree.
blessing
Mhm.
disguise, like kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I would be the type to be like, you know what, Divine, why, human being are dumb. Don't make us go through all that lesson. I don't want us
Mhm.
to go through that.
Yeah.
So I still hope and I pray that the universe nipped it in the bud. So that's why I hope
Yeah.
my dream lately with 24 at Harris and my
Yeah.
friend from Australia felt like we're back to that timeline shift.
Yeah.
I really would love that.
I
But
feel like it really depends on the people. I keep saying, I feel as though it influx. I think it depends on the people. Like for instance, we
humble.
required the people required Chuck Schumer to be brave. And so any Democrats that voted for this thing to be braver than they were, you know, and they chose not to be. And I
Some of
understand
them, some of them,
to a certain extent. I
some of them.
understand
No, some of
because
them are
he
brave.
was between a rock and a hard place.
Mm.
I don't know if there's any, in a way, I don't know if there's any wrong decision because he was between a
Well, you
rock
know
and a hard.
what? What if,
Yeah.
sometimes the liberals, I feel, first of all, it was shocking. So I'm giving
Mm.
credit. That's like a no-brainer. I don't know if I'm not going to even try going to his energy if he a
Yeah.
fake or not.
Yeah.
But we have a tendency to cut people off, the cancel culture issue. So I'm not judging everybody at all that because I don't
Yeah.
like being labeled in a box. But what if we had a conversation with him? If he was
Mm.
so far out of touch, we can't even reach him before.
Yeah.
And AOC kept saying, don't assume the Senate knows better, basically,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
they're going to do it. We, the people, have to call and tell Chuck. But he made the decision. Right now, people are
Yeah.
out. He has all this book tour. He's
Yeah.
going to have so many people after him. But what if we
Yeah.
had a conversation with him? I'm just
Yeah.
saying, let's say he was right and he was just clueless, or he
Yeah.
was like, a rock in a hard place. Let's just say from that angle. Do we allow to have conversation there? No. So,
Mm.
but what if he is not the greatest that we think he is? Then
Well,
we'll
I
fight.
don't think he's the greatest. I don't think he's the greatest. I don't I
I don't know.
for me, like
I'm not the judge.
how I'm perceiving it is I'm
Yeah,
looking at each person as a human being. Okay. And
I
they
like that.
weigh the
I like that.
choices and they make their choice. And it could be a good one or it could be a bad one. Who knows? Because right now, the moment that we in, it just really it's bad. So you kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place. And in his mind, he might have think, okay, a shutdown would be worse. I think in a way he was fearful. He was afraid that the Democrats would get blamed for the shutdown, which they most certainly would have been. But he made his decision out of fear and maybe out of habit, because he was there long. So to a certain extent, he might not be like you said, he's not really in touch with the people anymore. I think he too far away from where the people are right now. He's so accustomed hearing people protest him and be mad at him, and having people call him. He accustomed to all of that. So in a way, he might have built up an immunity to all that. So when he make a decision, he can just go for it because he may have built up. Not he may have. He most definitely build up an immunity to people protesting him and being mad at him and asking him to do this and doing that and all that because he was there long. So that's the decision that he made. He felt like I assume he felt like that was the best decision, and the Democrats that did it, they felt like that was the best decision. And now everybody just has to keep going. We got to keep going. We got to keep making choices. And as far as I'm concerned, I believe that we don't know the outcome of the story because it constantly in flux, because it's like It's like if we're playing a video game and we're making these daily choices or these momentary choices, you know, you gotta decide if you're gonna jump or go around or whatever. You know, you're constantly making choices. And
you know what made me think of this idea, how I was saying sometime what I want, for example, I would want Harris to won. Now, Spirit Guide, the bigger picture, because they
yeah,
want peace for us, right?
yeah.
The purification, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it doesn't have to go to the level of what happened in history, right? Like
I
you
don't
said, you
think
don't
it
want to
will.
go to
I hope
all the
it
way to
will.
fire. But
Yeah.
what if, and I don't know, because I'm not intuiting that deeply. What if this, this mistake that he made,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it go through, but maybe it's not going to be a long term. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like maybe that other reason we're going
Yeah.
to learn continually. Going with we don't always get what we want, and sometimes it
Yeah.
is the worst case scenario. But what if
Yeah.
it's a blessing in disguise? I mean, I totally
Honestly, I think that I trust in divine timing. And the reason that I could trust in divine timing is from my own personal experiences,
oh
you
good.
know, and
That's
I understand and I experience bad things and yep, flow, exactly. I understand that bad things happen and I personally experience bad things. People experience bad things, but to me, for me, all the bad things that's ever happened in my life, and I've had some bad things. I lost a child and everything. I lost a child at 5 days old. So I experienced a terrible pregnancy and I lost a son and I watched him die, you know, next to me, you know. So I've experienced bad things. But when my son passed, I used to be a very, very fearful person, like extreme anxiety. And when my son passed, I had experienced my worst fear in my life. And once I experienced my worst fear, I realized, okay, I can face anything because if I could face this and I could get through this, then I could face anything. And I just feel as though, however bad it gets, and you know, I don't want it to get bad. I don't want it to get. It's really bad right now. I don't want it to get worse, but it will. It will get worse, but I don't know how bad it can get. But however bad it can get, I just feel as though I still trust divine timing, and I trust that everything has a purpose, you know. And
yeah. I
unfortunately,
mean,
we gonna lose people because that's just how it happens. Sometimes, you know, we lose people, you know, but those people that we lose in this whole process, they're what we need to do is make sure that that you know the loss, their loss. I don't know how to word it. It's not for nothing, which is why I think that, you know, the Zelensky, you know, why I can understand why Zelensky will continue to fight and resist Russia, because I mean, so many people have sacrificed their lives in this war trying to defend their country, you know what I mean? And it costs a lot. It costs so much. If people are gonna sacrifice so much, they have already sacrificed so much for democracy and so much for people's freedoms. I mean, are you gonna just hand it over? You know what I mean? We
especially
got to
his
fight to the
family.
end.
Yeah, his family had history of fighting against all that too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like his grandfather and all that. You know what? We could go on talking about it. I thought to first of all, I got chilled the whole time you were talking. So that
Mhm.
means with all truth. Okay, so I'm just gonna shuffle the oracle card so we could wrap it up. Because I feel like we said a lot within that
Yeah. Yeah.
28 minutes. Because it's one of those things we could talk about and talk
Yeah,
about.
you could go on
But
forever.
get more clarity. Like last
Yeah.
video was gonna be up soon. That's really part one of two, but maybe it's back. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it goes from I don't know to clarity, and the only clarity I get is I could maybe not love that we have to go through that. 'Cause I tend to tell to my spirit guide, why can you just change humanity consciousness? Why
Yeah.
you have to make us go through that? But this is the reality. So I pray now, please make it quick. And
Yeah.
if my dream means anything, could
Yeah.
with the timeline going back to the joy vibe of 2024 Harris,
Yeah.
I'm going to be happy with that because
Yeah.
that means we can nip it and get all the lesson or most of the lesson in And we
Definitely
go
gonna
from
depend
our
on.
fears
Yeah.
because it's what they're feeding off of. They're feeding off our fears. And a lot of us are learning to go beyond it. So here's the message to wrap it up. And then I'm going to let you tell me what you thought of it, and then we'll go. So
Okay.
just go by the image. Don't worry about, oh, I have to know what the cards mean. Just
Yeah.
go
Okay.
by what you feel. So here it's like the moon, but the word is relax.
Relaxation.
So we're going to put it like in a story.
Yeah.
Action. So you know what I'm thinking it means?
Yeah.
The way we would react to things, we're a little more calmer because,
Yeah.
like your story about the sun, horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. You're a fearful person, but it helped you to like go, I know. This is our worst case scenario
Mhm.
that we're seeing, but we're
Mhm.
still here, kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And the gateway. So
Can you
gateway,
hold the card a little higher? I'm not seeing the word.
you're not going to see it? Okay.
No,
It's
no.
kind of hard.
Or
Here we
bring it
go.
back a little bit. Oh, thank you.
So we got relaxation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should let you talk. So here we go. Action
Yeah.
and then gateway.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
what do you get from that?
Okay, so the first card, the relaxation, actually that one really, really stuck out to me more
Oh, yeah?
because I'm thinking about the lunar eclipse that just happened. And this moon image is kind of reminding me of the images that I've been seeing of the lunar eclipse, and this relaxation, with the hammock and the reading and stuff like that. It kind of reminds me of how my last couple of days was, especially like during the lunar eclipse. I was really in this kind of relaxation vibe. I was enjoying a show on Netflix that was really making me feel good and putting me in a really good space. And I connect to that image because it makes me think, it makes me feel those vibes, like it reminds me of the lunar eclipse photos I've been seeing and just feeling calm and at peace. And that's how I've been feeling. That's why I say I feel like I'm in a different timeline, because as the only time I realize how much madness going on is when I go on Bluesky or I go on social media and I hear the news, I hear what's happened. But in my own personal life, that is where I'm at. This relaxation card, that's what I'm feeling personally.
I'm wondering if I have to do that dream, the 2024 Harris timeline. Here's the other one, action. What do you get from that?
I get the same. I get the same thing. Even though it says action and it got the waves and it got the clouds and everything, the dark clouds. I still picturing, okay, you're at the beach and you're kind of witnessing that, but you're not in it. You're sitting at the beach and you're seeing it, but you're not in it. And this one here, gateway. Wow. That is actually another card that like kind of appeals to me because like I've been saying in my videos, I don't know, that I feel as though I'm a light worker holding a lantern at the gate, calling people. So this is how I feel. I feel as though, remember I said I'm not a dreamer, but I have images. So this is an image that was in my head, holding the lantern, and I could see the bridge, and I could see the dark clouds, and I could see all the explosions and the bad things happening in front of me. And then I turn around and I feel this warmth, and I can see the garden and the clear skies, and this is where I feel I'm at. I feel like I'm right here at the gateway holding the lantern, calling people, saying come, and calling people to me and saying this way, that kind of, that's the image that I have in my mind. And honestly, like I said, I feel as though I'm observing, but I'm not in it. It's not
Maybe
happening.
we're not meant to be
me.
in it for too long.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's happening to me. It feels like I'm watching, but it's not happening to me. And I do care about I care, but one of the things that I've tried to do intentionally is not let them weaponize my empathy against me, not let them turn my empathetic soul into somebody paralyzed with fear because I'm watching all these bad things happen to people, so I stand at the gateway and I'm watching, but I'm still looking back, and I feel, allowing myself to feel that warmth and reminding myself that there is, there's another side to this. This isn't it. This isn't everything. It's, there's more to it than that.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So we're going to keep that good vibe for this video. And if you have anything, please definitely subscribe to her channel and also comment. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. I love it.